Here's what you missed on the Mike Brown Morning Show.
To the Urban Uplift, and it's the Mike Brown Morning Show. You made a good decision today by hanging out with us. Those that have been listening since the beginning of the show this morning, we had some technical difficulties this morning, but we are here, and so we thank you for hanging out with us. We do not take it lightly. So thank you. You know, a lot has happened in the news since yesterday, and you know, this is why I always say that it's important for us to have our relationship with Jesus Christ, because things will happen that will just have you, if you don't have a relationship with him, it'll have you sitting in a corner somewhere. It'll have you depressed. And, you know, here's the thing, man. And I have to say it in a blanket statement kind of way. The way this country was founded, what it was founded upon, none of that has changed as of yet. As racist as this country was when it started, it is just as racist as it is now. Now, I know that every day in America, somebody kills somebody. Unfortunately, it might be a black person that kills a black person, a white person that kills a white person. Even sometimes people in families, they kill each other. And that's sad. And it's no way to make that better. It's sad all around. But here's what I'm tired of. I am tired of white police officers killing black men. Remember a few weeks ago, we talked about genocide. And we talked about how, so basically, in my own words, genocide is a way to mass murder or a way to get rid of a big group of people in a certain community or in a certain sect. And I believe that a form of genocide in the African American community, one of them is at the hand of a white police officer. And I am tired of it. We sat up and saw a man be killed. I mean, that wasn't George Floyd was not the first time that we saw that happen. Remember a few years ago in California, as a matter of fact, they did a movie about it. It was called Fruitville Station. We saw the same thing. The only difference was it was just on, it wasn't a difference. It happened on social media. The police shot the boy in the subway station or the tram station. Like this thing keeps happening over and over again. So while I say, and I can say it, I don't care what it doesn't bother me that much what people say. And I'm going to maintain this. It doesn't matter who the president is. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Hear that, people. It doesn't matter who the president is. What's going to happen is going to happen. What's happening is we're getting distracted by this general election. Trump this, Trump that, Biden this, Biden that. Who cares? Let me tell you what matters. What matters is who we vote for in our local communities, in our cities, in our counties, and in our state. That's what matters. Let me tell you why. Okay, so this happened again in Philadelphia. These cops killed this young black man, right? Well, when it's time for them to be prosecuted, the president of the United States is not going to prosecute them. Depending on who the president is, he might not even have a statement to make about what happened. Is it a little more clear why it doesn't matter who the president is. They both old men. It doesn't matter. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Go vote for who is in your community, because what needs to happen is these men need to go to prison. Period. No questions asked. Now we're going to get into the story, but I don't care what happened. Another black man shouldn't be dead at the hand of the police. Yeah, they said he had a knife. Okay, police, you got a gun, you got Billy Club, you got a what's that thing called? A taser. You got them big steel boots. I mean, what? What and why? What and why? Now, we ought to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. This is ridiculous. This is why we vote. And I got the revelation so clear the other day. Our ancestors, they died for the right to vote. They were killed for the right to vote. Yes, they were. But they weren't thinking about the president. Think about it. Think about it, because if we go back far enough, the president had slaves. They wasn't studying that office. What they were thinking about is, hey, it's enough of us in our community that we can vote ourselves in. And guess what? History not going to really tell you this for real, but that's what happened. They voted themselves in. Because although a lot of us didn't understand that we were free, air quotes, you can't see my air quotes, we didn't understand that we were really free after the Civil War, because they still had us in the mind, because we still lived on their plantation, because we still did the same kind of work. They just paid us a little bit, or they gave us room and board. But then there was another group that said, hey, wait a minute. I don't have to do this no more. Guess what they did? They figured out how they could vote. And guess what they did? They voted. And then guess what the result of that was? They were congressmen. May have been a couple of senators in there. Mayors. All kind of city officials. That's what happened. They wasn't thinking about who the president. They had slaves still. Okay. That was a little rant-ish. But I gotta say it. Because somebody that needs to hear this may be listening. Because ain't nobody on CNN gonna talk like this. And they definitely ain't gonna say it on Fox. Please. Now, Roland Martin, he might be over. He might be somewhere cussing right now. So, but amen. I'm not cussing, but I'm mad too, Roland. Yes, but I'm angry, but I'm gonna sin not. All right, let me read the story. Protests grip Philadelphia, leaving officers injured and stores damaged after police kill a black man. Right there. I don't know who Katie Shepherd is. This is who wrote the story. But that's even written. The title of the article is Through White Eyes. Because why is the most important thing the last thing that's said? Listen, talk about me if you want to. It's the Mike Brown Morning Show. And this is how I feel. The officers are injured and the stores are damaged as a result of the black man being killed. So let's say that first. Because a black man was killed. How about that? Officers are injured and stores are damaged. Yeah, that's why. Now, the stores probably shouldn't be damaged. But hey, we don't know. This world's so corrupt. The owners could have been out there doing it themselves. Let me read the story. I'm going to try to keep my commentary down now because I just had a lot to say. So I'm going to read the story. Okay. Volatile protests erupted Monday night in Philadelphia after police fatally shot a 27-year-old black man armed with a knife whose family said he was suffering a mental health crisis. The Philadelphia Police Department said 2 officers fatally shot Walter Wallace Jr. I'm sorry, I got to stop again. Remember when I told you that the young man had a knife? Now let's add to the story. The plot thickens. He was mentally ill. That's number 2. He had 1 knife, and then now we see that it was 2 officers. So now we got 2 guns, 2 billy clubs, 2 tasers, 4 steel boots, 1 black man, 1 knife, mentally ill. What in the world? Are you that scared? I know I wasn't supposed to be stopping, but I've seen a video on YouTube where a white man had a gun and the police didn't shoot him. And it was like 4 police cars. I mean, it's crazy. And if you're a black man listening to me right now, I don't have the answer. Hit me up if you do. But why are they so scared of us? I'm talking about, I'm not even talking about on an intellectual or performance-based level, or I'm talking about just on the surface, like walking down the street. What did I do? Why are you scared? But you know what it is? It's hereditary. It's fear of what you could do since you're not enslaved anymore. That could be passed down. Yeah, that could be passed down. Just like a lot of things that affected us in slavery were passed down. How we feel about ourselves sometimes, how we look at ourselves. That stuff is passed down because it was so ingrained in our people. Just like illnesses are passed down, those types of things are passed down. So what it probably is, I guess I'm trying to answer my own question. What it probably is the fear of what you could do to me or what you will do to me since I don't have the power over you anymore. I'm just thinking out loud on that one. I'm going to try to finish reading this without having more commentary. Several times Monday afternoon after he refused. Okay, he was shot several times Monday afternoon after he refused to drop the knife as his mother followed closely behind trying to restrain him. But Wallace's family and local activists pointed to cell phone video of the shooting, asking why officers didn't use less lethal weapons to try to subdue him. Exactly, less lethal weapons. You could have popped him with the billy club. You could have shocked him with the taser. Why didn't they use a taser? This is the article. I didn't say it. The article just said it then. Walter Wallace Sr., his father, asked the Philadelphia Inquirer, noting that his son was on medication. He has mental issues. Why you have to gun him down? In the hours after the shooting, about 300 protesters massed in the streets facing down officers in riot gear who pushed them back with shields and batons. As the night wore on, multiple officers were looted, a police vehicle was set ablaze, and at least 12 officers were injured, including one who was hospitalized with a broken leg after being struck by a truck early Tuesday. Now, listen, is that right? No. Do 2 wrongs make a right? No. But is there a such thing as cause and effect? It absolutely is. Philadelphia officials have called for a full investigation of the shooting, but also asked the public to remain patient as investigators determine whether the officers violated any policies or laws. I had to be quiet for a few seconds after I said that. What do you mean if they violated any policies or laws? They just killed somebody with a knife. That's what you got to investigate? What policy? What law? My prayers are with the family and friends of Walter Wallace, Mayor Jim Kenney said in a statement on Monday. I have watched the video of this tragic incident, and it presents difficult questions that must be answered. The case mirrors other recent instances of police violence caught on camera that has fueled a summer of unrest over police brutality and raises new questions about how police handle mental health crisis. Excuse me. Why does it now raise questions for an institution that has been around for hundreds of years? They not trained to deal with people with mental health issues? Some things you just shouldn't say. I know that you got to have something to say because you're the mayor, but filter what you say. Get the people around you to say, nah, Mr. Mayor, don't say that part. Because that was dumb. What you mean how to handle mental health crisis? They the police. Half of the people that they encounter got mental health crisis. The incident began around 4 p.m. on Monday when police responded to a report of a man with a knife, the Inquirer reported. A video of the encounter taken by a bystander and posted on social media showed Wallace's mother trying to restrain him, putting her body between the man and the two officers. He pushed her away and then turned to walk toward the police. The officers backed away but kept their guns pointed at Wallace. Why are y'all so scared? Put the knife down, one of the officers shouted in the video. I mean, while he was coming, they could have stun gunned him. I mean, really? Really? Yeah. Because now, would it be a little bit different if he had a gun? It would. It would be a little bit different. It would. But there is no justification here for him being shot by two officers. He had a knife. The camera panned away from the scene as officers opened fire, shooting Wallace several times. In front of multiple witnesses, including his mother. Wallace was pronounced dead after being taken to the hospital. A Philadelphia police spokesman told the Inquirer that police ordered Wallace to drop the knife before firing and said that both officers were wearing body cameras. That's all I'm going to read. Sad. And it's more sad because I'm a black man. My son is a black man. I know a lot of black men. And it's unbalanced. I mean, it's become commonplace. And I suppose that our access to social media is only exposing, obviously, what's been accepted. If it is so easy for white police officers to kill black men, that means that this is not something that ever stopped. That means that this has been going on since slavery, since Jim Crow. It never stopped. We just have not been privy to it till now. So it's a sad day. Yeah, man, it's too much. It's too much. And so in times like these, though, to our benefit, it is to our benefit that we are believers and that we have Jesus Christ to pull us through this. But we have to pray. We got to pray for our community because I know, I feel you. I feel you. And that's all. Well, that's not all we need somebody to say to our community, but that's part of it. But what we need is for it to be condemned, for it to stop. And this is why I'm telling everybody that's listening to me, if you can vote today, go and vote today. I don't think it's a good idea for any of us to try to be out there on November the 3rd. I just don't. I got this feeling. I tried to make the feeling go away. It ain't went nowhere yet. I don't think it's a good idea for us to be trying to vote on November 3rd. So get your ballot in. It's easy. I went yesterday and they gave me, so you got to fill out this. If you want to vote early, they told me that you can't do same day voting in Michigan. I didn't know that. I thought you could just go and vote. So some states, some of you that's listening to me, whatever state you're in, you can go vote same day. But here in Michigan, you can't vote same day, but you can turn your absentee ballot in on the same day. So when I went, they gave me the absentee ballot. You got to fill out a form requesting it. They give it to you. You have the option to fill it out while you're there. I didn't really fill it. I didn't fill it out while I was there. It was a little, well, I didn't fill it out while I was there. I could have, but I have the ballot and I'm probably going to turn it in tomorrow. So if you got to do that, do that. But I don't think it's a good idea for any of us to be standing in line on that day. Yeah. All right, it's the Mike Brown Morning Show. We got more show for you. Today is the day that we answer and we talk about taxes. We answer questions and we talk about taxes. And this is something we're going to do every week because on this show, we believe that financial empowerment is important. And taxes, whether you believe it or not, play a very important role in that. And sometimes when we acquire wealth, it can be lost because we don't understand something as fundamental as taxes. And so a lot of times we don't have to know all of the nuts and bolts about it, but we need to know enough to understand what we don't know and to get a professional involved. So that's what today is all about, because we know that we are going to attain. And so once we do, we want to have some know-how. So Mr. Elbert Hawkins is here today, and he's going to talk to us next hour. So listen, go grab somebody and tell them, hey, hang out with me this morning on the Mike Brown Morning Show as we learn a little bit more. All right, I'll be back. Don't go anywhere. It's the Mike Brown Morning Show.
Wake up. Right here. The Mike Brown Morning Show.
Wake up, baby, when you wake up, hit it in the morning.
Heard weekdays 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Urban Uplift.
So every week, as a matter of fact, he's not really a guest anymore. This is his home. He is our tax expert here on the Mike Brown Morning Show. And we're going to try to pick off where we left off last week. But don't forget that this is a conversation that continues. So if we don't get it all in today, it continues. So I want to bring back to the show Mr. Elbert Hawkins. Good morning, sir. How you doing today?
Doing great, Mike. How you doing, sir?
Man, all is well, man. Can't complain. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yes, it is.
It's a little bit cold, but we're grateful still.
Hey, Mike, how cold is it up there? It's like 45 here.
Okay, well, I guess it might be a little bit cooler than that. I didn't even check because, like, for me, it's just cold.
It's
So
just gone.
I don't even want to make because the bright side for you is like later today it might be 70 degrees.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true. But it's not. But it does happen like that in Texas. But
yeah,
yeah, not today though.
yeah. But it's 41 degrees right now with
Okay. Good.
with a
Okay.
60% chance of rain.
Yeah, it's raining down here, so I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So
I'm excited.
yeah, man. Um, we started this morning off with some sad news. Had you heard about the shooting in Philadelphia yet?
Who?
The shooting in Philadelphia, white officers killed another black man.
Oh no, I ain't heard.
Yeah, man, it's a pretty sad commentary. And this is why it's important for us to build our communities, so that we
Absolutely.
serve each other.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
it sounds like a foreign idea now, but our people did it. They actually did it, and we could do it again.
Absolutely, we can. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wow, I did not hear about that this morning. Man, I'm gonna have to maybe change my news around a little bit.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So
Wow.
so last week we kind of ended the conversation on why it was important for everybody to, I'm talking about everybody, every adult, to start a business.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
because of the benefits that being able to control how you spend your tax dollars, maybe not that you won't spend any, but just being able to control how you spend it, how much how big of a deal that is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tremendous deal, Mike, and it is so important that everyone does start. Like, no matter how big or small, no matter what it is that you're doing. I know we talked last week about just doing the basic things to kind of get you in the ball game and get that ball rolling. Definitely do those things so you can have more control of how you spend your tax dollars. So absolutely, Mike.
And I want to kind of narrow in on that. A lot of people think that because we're saying um start a business and then you can control your tax dollars, a lot of people translate that to automatically rich or automatically financially free. But I want you to kind of expound on how this is just the beginning of a new mindset, and it just shows you when you save here, over time it becomes a behavior pattern, and then once you create this behavior pattern, then you are on your way to financial freedom and becoming wealthy and becoming rich. Can you expound on that for me?
Yeah, Mike, and that's funny you say, over time, when you do those first steps, the DBA, and then you open up the business bank account, then you actually start trying to work your business and you're perfecting it and you're getting better at it, your mindset does change. And I'm speaking now for myself, is that I've been in business for 15, 20 years almost now. And I was just basically barely making it, and just, still paying my bills, still working, still working. The last 2 to 3 years, I've been able to really start to save and to really start put money away to where I'm starting to see the benefits of it. And when you say your mindset changes, you don't spend like you once did. You value saving more. You value the dollar more than what you did beforehand. And that does come with time. And no, you're not going to be rich initially. No, you're not going to be rich. It takes time, but keep working at it. And that old saying, if you invest 10 years to a company, 15, 20 years to a company, just imagine how much further you'll be along if you invest that time into yourself. So I tell all young people, hey man, start it now. Don't give the company 20, 30 years of your life, and then you look up and that's all you got, And so invest that time into yourself, and you'll be much better off in the long run. Absolutely.
Good. I agree with that. And
Yes, sir.
so now, do you think that Congress is going to pass another stimulus package?
I mean, I don't like playing politics with people, well-being and lifestyle and all that stuff, but I feel that's basically what they're doing. they with this election coming up and all those things in the background, then that's kind of what they're doing. Now, do I believe they're going to do it eventually? I believe once the decision has been made and once the American people have spoken in regards to voting, then that's going to determine what type of package it's going to be. But yes, I do believe they're going to do another stimulus round. I do believe that, but I believe the type of stimulus package is going to be that determines on who's going to win the election.
Okay. So I know. So before we go, I got a couple of more questions, and then I'll let you end it how you want to end it. But
Okay.
if in case they do come with another stimulus package, I want you to talk to the individual and tell them what's the best course of action with what they receive, and then talk to the small business owner and tell them what's the best course of action and what programs may be available. And I know I'm saying a lot, but what you may have missed out on because you weren't a business owner. Like, can you kind of hit on all of that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, and you have to remind me, but I'm gonna answer the last one first to say, what did you? Well, let me start back at the beginning. Take this away from this conversation that everybody that hears my voice, hear Mike's Brown, these first initial steps, and we talked about this last week, open you up, get you a DBA. That's the least expensive thing at your county clerk office, $25, $30. That's going to give you a certificate saying that you are in business in that particular county. Take that form down to the bank, open you up a business bank account. Those are the basic two things that you need to classify that you are a certified business in that particular county. Now, what things that may be available to you? You guys, I put a piece on Facebook the other day and say, don't spend found money. So, in other words, you have a budget and you're budgeting for your family, budgeting for your household, you're budgeting for your business. So, when those extra income come in, so if they do another stimulus package and you get that additional $3,500, save that. Save that save that for the next rainy day, because most of us, we got our budget set aside. We know how much these bills going to be. We know what we normally spend on a monthly basis, and even if we're coming up short or if we barely making it, we're still making it. And that's an opportunity for you to start setting aside a savings. And that's personally what I do with mine. It's not because my budget is outrageous, because it's really really small, but I understand that's found money and you should save that funds. Now, going to what Mike Brown said about the last things that you missed out in. When the SB or when the government and they did the stimulus package, they gave small businesses the opportunity to take advantage of loans to keep their particular businesses going, and 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 that's what you should do if you are a small business. So you do those first two steps, the DBA, and you open up that business bank account. You have an opportunity to go into what the small businesses could get through the stimulus package. They had so much money available to small businesses that they had to extend the program because all the money wasn't spent. So take advantage of those things. It was another program, and that was through the SBA Small Business Association. They have another program they had set aside called the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, and that's also for small businesses, and that's for to small businesses to keep their employees, to keep themselves going during this pandemic. When the government say, hey, everybody go home for the sake of not getting anyone sick, then that's exactly what they meant. But therefore, they want to help compensate you for that particular time period because they are trying to get this pandemic under control. So take advantage of those things and you can be surprised. I tell people, hey, this may be the seed that you needed to go ahead and get that business off the ground. This may have been, you know, I, I don't know the Bible verse, Mike, but you have to help me out. But say the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous, and I tell people, hey, this may have been the opportunity that you needed to really make your dream come true. So take advantage of those things. Get in line, find out the requirements. I know the PPP. If you use it strictly for your business, you don't even have to pay it back. The paycheck protection, I believe there are some stipulations in there where you can get it turns to a grant after so long, but the interest rate is super low. I think like 3%. People getting $20,000 have to pay $100 back for like 30 years. That's a no brainer if you can actually make that work out for yourself. So definitely go ahead and do those first two, the DBA, the bank account, and then you can when it happens, because it's probably, I'm like 95% sure it's going to happen. It's just when it's going to happen and what type of package it's going to be. So definitely take advantage of those things, Mike.
And I'm glad you shared these things with us, because while the masses of us are distracted by politics, we don't understand that these things are right under our nose. And although we are disproportionately displaced a lot of times as African Americans, this is one thing that we can say is not that our color doesn't have any bearing on it. The only thing that separates us from this is us not positioning ourselves.
Absolutely, knowledge, Mike, and that's
The
the
knowledge.
very first yeah, Mike. That was the first conversation we had. It's the knowledge, and we have to be willing to share this information with each other. Because I was sitting at home, one of my friends called me. He was like, "Hey, you need to take advantage of this," and then he sent me the text message. And then when I found that, I was like, "Oh, hey, let me tell my friends, hey, you need to take advantage of this." And so, absolutely right, Mike. The when you fill out these applications, it don't ask are you black or white or nothing like that. You just got to be willing and have your mind open to, hey, this is what's in store for us. This is what can be, what we can have, and you have to be prepared and be ready, to take advantage of these opportunities. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I know this is a little bit of off kilter right here, but I talk a lot of politics here in this season because it's the season that we're in. And
Yes, sir.
I find it funny how most Democrats or people that vote Democrat, they think that Republicans are all about the rich and they don't care about nobody but themselves, and they only care about big business. But the truth of the matter is it was a Republican Congress that passed the bill, but a part of them passing it was to make sure that businesses were able to be compensated as well.
Yeah. Okay, Mike. So, and I'm gonna jump on my little soapbox right quick, but you're absolutely right. It was the Republican, Congress and things like that actually got the bill to pass through. The first time, and most people, it kind of, I think now that it's kind of over and things went by, that they had to pass two bills. The first stimulus package went to uh, the first stimulus package when they had the SBA money kind of went to the big corporations. You hear about these big multi-business billion-dollar companies, million-dollar companies getting this paycheck protection money, getting these SBA loans, and so it wasn't trickling down to the mom and pops. And a funny story, and I'll tell it real quick. But when I first did it, I applied for it. And I got a response from one of the companies saying that we're going to deal with our customers first before they start taking on new people. And I understand. It's like, well, that's not how the process is supposed to work. But what they was telling me at the time was, we don't have a relationship with you, so therefore we're not going to help you. And I said, what? Well, I'm thinking to myself, what type of relationship it was. And I said, oh. And think about it this way, Mike. And this is why I thought it was really unfair. And that's why they had to come right back around. And they did within like 2 weeks. They turned right back around and gave more money to the small businesses. And they was concentrating truly on the small businesses. Think about it this way, Mike. And one thing they're going to do is protect the banks, because the bank is like the key to all this stuff. All right. So when they gave the money, and let's say that I'm Walmart and I have a $1 billion loan with Bank of America. Well, Bank of America is going to give Walmart money before they give that other small business money, because they have to have them keep making the payments to pay them back.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, why would that happen? And then that's when I figured out the relationship, because I don't have a loan with them, and that's what I feel was disproportionate, is because, if I went to the SBA and initially and they didn't give me a loan for whatever reason, they didn't have a relationship with me. You see what I'm saying? So now when this money first trickled down, it's like, wow, I don't get no money. And then y'all give these corporations, y'all give these people who got these loans, who got this stuff, and y'all going to give them more money. And I'm thinking to myself, it's only been 2 months. They're failing already. They fell in a month later, but the guy on the corner who took his own money, who's strapped and who's worked his butt off to keep his business going. Y'all not going to give him nothing. But they turned around and fixed it all. But I'm just like, wow, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, Mike, it's fair and sometimes it's not fair, but that's just the nature of the business. But I think as African Americans, we used to working through those obstacles, so
Right.
we'll be all right.
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
And I guess I see it both ways,
Yes, sir.
But I
Yes,
but I
sir.
always kind of think about, if Walmart, and I'm just using the Walmart because you brought Walmart into it,
Yes, sir.
but
Yes,
any
sir.
of the big companies, but Walmart, for example, if
Hmm.
they don't survive, that's a big chunk of our community that doesn't have a job anymore.
True. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um. Uh. That's true, Mike.
Hmm.
This is so let's say Rue Chris, let's say these restaurants, let's say some of these businesses, and when I start thinking about relationships, I'm like, wow, if they disproportion us in the beginning, and then this is part of the criteria that they're going to deal with people they have relationships. And I think about, we all know small businesses and stuff like that. We know people who's gotten denied. Oh, it's so hard to get. It's so hard to get. And then when they brought these stipulations back around, it's like, well, you have to have a relationship. You have to have a loan with us already. You have to have these things. That's like, well, if we didn't get it from the beginning, how do you expect us to survive now that, we're going through these crises? And we're taking Walmart, for example, which, I think they're going to be okay. But you know, um, mom and pop restaurants, these other businesses, I'm like, wow, they're gonna make it. Are they really gonna make it? And that's the part that's kind of scary to me because I'm like, if they got it started with their own funds, it's like, man, are they really gonna have the opportunity to make it? And that's why I understand some people's like, I can't afford to shut down because if I shut down, this is my livelihood. People have restaurants and things like that, been in business for years. It's like, man, are they really going to make it? So yeah, I get it. I get it. It's both ways, Mike. It's like a
Yeah.
double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. True, it is.
But I like what you said though. If we position ourselves, then we can take advantage of what's to come.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's coming, you guys, and I stress. I tell people, I went to my mom before it all happened. I said, "Mom, they preparing to do it, and they're going to do it again." And it's going to be opportunities, you guys. And I tell everybody, get prepared to take advantage. Absolutely.
So let me ask you this question. Let's say you were a person in the first round that did get an SBA loan.
Hmm.
When they come with the second stimulus package, will you then be eligible to apply again with an already existing loan?
Mike, that part, I don't think no one can truly tell you exactly until the rules come out. And I don't think anyone could truly tell you till the rules come out. So I hate to speculate, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Mike, because it's kind of like tax season. I tell people, hey, y'all, to that final update come out, to these final things happen, then I can't tell you 100% sure exactly how they're going to do it. If you didn't do it the first time through, then definitely prepare yourself for the second time. But I can't tell you if they're going to do it or not.
Okay. I got one more question. I'm gonna let you go. I know you got you busy day, but I got one more question. So,
Yes, sir.
if anybody's listening to us right now, they notice that a, a lot of what I'm asking as it relates to taxes also relates to business. So, can you explain what the correlation between business and taxes are, and why is it more talked about in relation to business than it is personal?
Okay, Mike. Can you answer that question one more time?
Okay, so the people that's listening to me, they hear me refer to taxes and business more often than they hear me talk about personal taxes. So what is the correlation between business and taxes, and why is it more prevalent or more talked about than taxes and personal? I think we may have lost them, y'all.
Oh no, Mike. I'm
So
sorry. No,
okay,
no, no, Mike. I'm still here. I'm sorry. No, Mike. So when it comes to business taxes, you have more of an opportunity to be able to write off deductions and things like that. Just a second. Yes, sir. No, you have more of an opportunity to claim deductions and expenses and things like that, and you'll be able to write off more of the expenses. Personal, you have the same opportunity, but it's not quite as beneficial as business taxes.
Okay. All right, because I mean, even when and this is the last thing I'll say. When I started my business, almost as soon as I started it, even before anybody tried to offer me any credit or anything, the one of the first things they offered was tax consultancy. And so I find that interesting. But that's how America is run. It's run off business and taxes. And we gotta become a part of the conversation.
Oh, absolutely, Mike, and that's good you mentioned that. Even though a lot of us have what we consider W-2 jobs and things like that, but the majority of Americans work for some type of small businesses, less than 100 employees, less than that's the majority. Even though we have these big corporations, the majority of Americans work for small businesses. So it is the backbone of America, small businesses, and so that you will get those types of advice because it's so prevalent, it's so beneficial. There's so many people make a true living off of small businesses. But yeah, Mike, it's just what it is. It's very, very important that we take advantage of those opportunities that's going on, Mike. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm gonna let you go, but is there anything you want to leave us with before we come back next week?
You guys, Mike, and maybe you'll have a conversation later or whatever. But when we're doing businesses and we're getting things established, you do your DBA, you open up your bank account. I'm personally going through something, not going through something, but I'm being more accountable and making myself more accountable. And I kind of want to get into what the things that we need to do to make sure that our small business succeed. It's just one thing to be in business, but now we have to make our business more profitable. They say most businesses, small business, fail within the first 5 years. That does not have to be the case, but there are some things that we need to do to prepare ourselves for the long-term success that we're looking for. And so, you guys, next week, like I say, Mike, me and you'll talk about it, but I want to start kind of going over some of the things that we can do to make sure that we have long-term success. Yes, we're motivated. Yes, we have the funds. Yes, we want to do it. Don't just go out there and just do it just because we know how to do it. Let's prepare ourselves for long-term success. So there are some things that I want to talk about that we need to put in place to make sure that we have long-term success, you guys.
All right. Well,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
we appreciate you. We appreciate your time taking out of your
Yes,
busy
sir.
schedule. And man, have a wonderful rest of your day. And we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mike Brown. You keep up the good work,
All
man.
right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Peace. All right, so it's right here on the Mike Brown Morning Show that you get that wealth of knowledge, and I hope that someone's taking advantage of this information. Don't be scared to ask questions. I mean, I remember being in school, and a lot of times people didn't ask questions because they cared about what other people thought. But the truth of the matter is, they probably had the same question too. Forget all that. Ask the question that you need to ask, because we got to get our community together. And when I say community, I mean us. It's far too long we've been left behind. All right, I'm going to get back to the music. I'll be back with some closing stuff. It's the Mike Brown Morning Show right here on the Urban Uplift.
Wake up. Right here.
The Mike Brown Morning Show.
Wake up, baby, when you wake up, hit it in the morning.
Heard weekdays 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time right here on the Urban Uplift.
Check it.
Get up, look up, stay up. It's the Urban Uplift.
Let's go.
Get lifted.
Already has your best interests at heart. All you have to do is get to know him. Here's what I need you to do. Remember yesterday I told you I saw a post that said, here are ways that you can support your friends with small businesses that don't cost you any money. And I'm going to give you a couple of them right now. To download the Urban Uplift app is totally free. So how you would help us is, and I know, let me say this. I know that if you're listening to me right now, chances are you have already downloaded the app. So thank you. So what else is free is that you could tell somebody else to download the app, and that would be greatly appreciated. What else can you do? You can go to Instagram and follow the Mike Brown Morning Show, as well as the Urban Uplift. You can go to Facebook and follow Mike Brown, as well as the Urban Uplift. And you can go to YouTube and subscribe to the Mike Brown Morning Show. Do that for me. I appreciate it. I thank you. Thank you for rocking with us. It's been a great day. Don't forget to read your chapter. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Friday is coming. I want you to be prepared. By now, you would have to have read chapters 1 and 2 as we continue the discussion on Friday. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Thank you for hanging out with us. Have a wonderful, prosperous, super fantastic rest of your day. I'm going to end with this song. I love this medley. Every Sunday morning, this was an every Sunday morning song in my house when we used to go to church on Sundays. All right, here it is, y'all. John P. Key, the Blessed Medley. I'll holler at you tomorrow. Peace.
Wake up. Right here.
The Mike Brown Morning Show.
Wake up, baby, when you wake up, hit it in the morning.
Heard weekdays 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Urban Uplift.